Hello everyone. Today I wanted to show you the Craft Club project kit for March. You get these 3 wood painted wood. You get yarn, a packet of orange and your squeegee, and then 2 stencils that can be reused, and then a full set of instructions to do the project that is in the kit. However, I am going to change mine up a little bit and show you what I've done with my project, with my Craft Club kit. So the first thing I'm doing is kneading my packet of chalk paste. You should do that when you get it. And then I'm going to use my tacky cloth to fuzz up my stencil. I do it like 2 or 3 times when it's a brand new stencil. And I'm choosing to do the small and the medium together, and I'm just flipping them one side up one way and one the next way. And then you want some type of surface to be able to put your chalk paste on. Cut a little hole or the top off. You can reuse this. They give you plenty of ink to reuse, so you want to maybe just tape it up or put it in a Ziploc bag. You can reuse the paste for sure. So I'm going to grab some of my chalk paste. It's a really cool orange color. I don't remember exactly what color it is, but I like the color. And you're just gonna put a light coating of the paste on your white pieces that you received in the kit. So like I said, I am showing you, this is like actually the first part of the kit project, but then I'm going to do a little twist to it. And make sure that you wash the stencil with cool water and gently clean it with gently clean it with a disinfectant wipe. So either one you can do. And then to dry the stencil, place the sticky side up and then replace it on the slick side of the backer sheet so that you can use it for another time. So I'm using that stencil. And then I'm going to grab the other one. Do the same thing. Put it on my tacky cloth a few times. My tacky cloth. For the longest time I couldn't remember what it was called. I'm trying hard to remember. And this one I'm just going to put on the whole thing because it's a bigger piece. You can put both stencils on it if you want, like half one stencil, half the other. The cool thing is just to use your imagination and just to have fun and do you. Do you, be you. Don't worry about anybody else. You enjoy it. And I'm just finishing up my coating here. And just remember, you want cold water to clean your stencils. What I do is if I'm working on a project and I don't want to rush to wash them completely off, then I'll put them in like a tray and with a little bit of water to keep them a little moist. But I don't want to keep them in there for a long time. So I'm going to be using cinnamon and Mod Podge, and I have a can that I painted with some dark paint. I don't remember if it was a tomato sauce can or not, but I've been waiting to use this forever. I'm like, I want to do something in a can. So I'm using my brush and I'm just giving it a second coat because I really want it to be a nice dark background. And what I'm going to be doing is taking my cinnamon and my Mod Podge and just making it rustic looking. And this is just one simple, easy way to do that. We don't have to always make things hard for ourselves. We can make things easy. So I'm just going to paint that up. And I didn't paint the bottom. You can paint the bottom. I don't know why I didn't do that, but so I'm using a regular sponge brush for the painting. I mean, a regular brush for the painting, and then I'm going to use a sponge brush to put the Mod Podge. Why? I don't know. I don't know what my thinking is behind that, but I don't know. You can use either one, I guess. Alright, so I'm using my heat element to just get that to quickly dry so that we can move forward. So you can, like I said, you can use the Kit Craft Club the way that they show you in your instructions, or you can be creative. And I will be also doing that with some silk plastic greenery and twine. And you do get twine in the kit, so you can use that too. Alright, so I think it's pretty much dry. I'm going to grab my Mod Podge. Just make sure it's dry because you don't want to have the paint swishing all over the place. I do suggest that you get a paper plate to put the Mod Podge on, because as we start putting the cinnamon on, you don't want to dip your brush into the Mod Podge. So I'm just sprinkling sections with straight up cinnamon, and it smells so good. And then I'm actually going to grab some cloves because I love the smell of cloves. And I actually think it's cool because it has a different color. So you might be able to see some of that in the texture. So when you add the Mod Podge, it changes. Like the way I'm doing it right now, you'll see it later in the video, but when you're doing it here, it doesn't change the color of the cinnamon. So you could leave it like that if you want, or you'll see later when I cover it again with the Mod Podge, it changes the color of the cinnamon, but we'll show you that later. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I think I might have done this once before years and years ago, but I just love the grunge look sometimes. You know, it's funny because I go from grunge to French country to vintage. Each room in my house can be a different theme. It's a whimsical. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And then we're going to switch over to, I printed out this label. I found a label from Google. I just searched image of a carrot label, and I'm deciding, I was going to cut it, and then I said, no, I'm going to rip it because I want it to look more textured. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now when you rip, there is a certain way to rip. If you rip frontwards to frontwards, it rips differently than if you're ripping backwards. So kind of decide which way you want to rip your paper. And then I was thinking about kind of distressing it a little bit more with some ink, but then I was satisfied with the way it looks, so I said, well, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's the cool thing about, you know, searching on Google, that you have so many different images and things that you can use on your projects. So excuse me, again I'm going to use my Mod Podge, and I'm going to use it as glue. And I'm going to paint the back of the label to put it on, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it on the front of the label. So I'm going to speed through this part because you all know how to glue. I'm gonna decide here to cover the whole can because it changed the color of the cinnamon around the label, even if even when it dried. So I decided to just do the whole thing. You'll see I left some cinnamon in the bottom of my can there. I did that on purpose because I wanted to I want to give it extra aroma. I don't know that you can really smell it or not, but I'm going to hot glue some styrofoam that I bought at Dollar Tree. You can use any styrofoam you have. This is one I'm repurposing, and another one. It's fairly cheap there. I mean, obviously Dollar Tree. So glue the bottom part and stick it in the can. I would leave a little bit of a lip, like I wouldn't put it all the way up to the top, but that's up to you. You can use Spanish moss, you can use, I'm going to be using raffia, you can use crinkle, filler, any kind of filler you want to add to it. Moss, Spanish moss. I couldn't find it at the Dollar Tree, so I decided I was going to use raffia. Alright, and now we have our carrots. They're all nice and dry, and I'm going to just use some tops of the, kind of looks like eucalyptus, the fake eucalyptus, and put it on there to make my little stalks. You can use anything. You can use rags, you can use the string that they gave you, you can use paper, anything that you want. And I was going to hot glue it to the back, but that didn't make sense. So you'll see here in a minute, I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I'm going to actually switch it over, and I'm going to hot glue it to the top of the carrot, and that looks a lot better. So I'm kind of just trying to decide here. Also, at this point, you can rub some cinnamon on the carrots, and I do that later in the video because when I wanted to grunge them a little bit, but I didn't want them to be heavily grunged. I did think about using ink or some paint to grunge them up a little, but I just thought that would be too much, but I didn't want them so white. So if you rub some cinnamon on them, it kind of grunges them up just a little bit, that it just takes away that starkiness of the white. So you can do that at this point, or you'll see later when I think of it. When I think of that idea, you can do that. So I would use hot glue here, and you just taking off the tips of the greenery. And on the little one, I'm using less, and then I use more greenery when we get to the bigger one. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit for you. So now I'm deciding on what to put to cover up the hole. And I was thinking of doing a bigger ribbon to try to cover it and to see, but because of the way that it is balanced out, it excuse me, it would be too big, too much. So there's my bow, and I just think, I mean, it's cute, but for the project, putting it into this can, it would be too overpowering, I thought. So I'm going to go with my twine, and I'm just going to make a simple bow, just going back and forth and then tying a piece of twine around it. Just a nice simple bow. So you can decide like you can make a smaller bow for the small carrot and then go up a little bit more, meaning the loops. You can make smaller loop for the smaller loop bow for the carrot and then go medium, and you'll see when I place it down. I actually naturally did that and I didn't even realize I was doing it. So this is where I'm trying to decide, so I think I might use that on the can and then just hot glue these guys down. Yeah, so I'm going to make a couple more. And it's just going back and forth looping. And I think I've done about maybe 4 loops going back. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. Going back and forth. I mean, you can use these carrots like this. You can use them just to place them on a tray. You can put them on a sign. There's so many things that you can do with these carrots. And they're cute, they're different. And then, like I say, you have those extra stencils to do fun things. You can make stuffy carrots too. I would just trace the pattern, trace the heart on some duck cloth of each, trace each heart on duck cloth, and then you can make carrot stuffies by doing the same thing. Look, see, I naturally did it. And then I'm just going to use some popsicle sticks, but you can use anything that you have to glue to the back of the carrots to stick them into the foam. This is such a simple, easy, fun project. You can see here that it doesn't really, it doesn't take much to do it. Time and effort, honestly, is really not much. But yeah, I really like the way it came out. All right, so those are done. So I'm just going to add a few more stems to the top of my carrots. Then we're going to place some popsicle sticks on them and then arrange them into the can. I'm going to put the taller one in the back and then the others in the front. Pretty simple, just don't burn yourself. And I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background. Tonight he is not being very friendly. Well, he's being friendly, but being very noisy. I wasn't home all day today, so I think he's like, Mama, play with me. There we go. I'm just going to let them dry a few seconds. And switch it to adding them in. Now again, if you want to do cinnamon to distress it, do it before you put them in like I'm doing here, because I realized that after I made it and I said, oh, I should have done it during this part. So if you want to distress your carrots, because they're very bright, then use cinnamon, and I just rub it on. I didn't add glue or anything like that. I just rubbed it on, and you will see that. So again, I didn't have any moss or anything like that. So I said, oh, what else can I use? I said, oh, I'm going to use some raffia. So I'm going to untangle my raffia, and what I'm going to do is, at first I tried to go and clump it together, and you'll see that, but I didn't like the way it looked. And then I thought, oh, if I roll it and make it look more like grass. So you'll see that I'm just going to roll it between my hands. So I tried it this way first, and I wrapped it with some raffia, but I didn't like the way it looked because it looked too like neat and too much like a bow, even when I cut it. And it was not organic enough. So I'm like, let me just take my frustrations out on the raffia. And then just put it in there. So I'm just going to place it in there. I'm going to grab some strands of it, rub it between my hands, and then glue it on in there. And I think it looks really good. Good. Can you hear him? He's outside my door whining. I can't imagine you can't hear him. All right, so let me see. Anything else I need to tell you? We're going to do the cinnamon. I'm just going to let it play so you can see the cinnamon. And it just kind of looks like a nest. Just trimming up a little bit here and there. I'm hot gluing it. Just be careful. Just placing it in there all around. So this was a really fun, easy project. Like I said, I had that can. I think I've had that can since Christmas time. I'm like, I'm going to do something. I want to put something in it. And I thought, what a great idea to put the carrots in there. I probably saw something on Facebook or Pinterest or something that was similar. And don't you love it when you something like just kind of sparks an idea in your mind and you're like, oh, I can do that with this. And it's just so fun to be creative. And I want to encourage you because that's a time we need to play and just to have some fun and be creative and let our minds just wander around. And then I am going to add a bow to the front of it. That bow that I made in the beginning, I just thought it would look nice, but it just didn't. It was just too much for the carrots, but it'll look nice on the front of this. Trimming up a little. Using my scissors to kind of get it in the between there. And then gluing it down. So I hope this inspires you to kind of do your own little can arrangement. And like I said, you can use any kind of carrots or whatever you want to put in there. But I just thought it looked really cute. So this is where I grabbed them out because I had thought of the cinnamon idea. Well, actually, my friend Terry helped me think of it. And I think it just tones them down just a little bit. And some of the cinnamon will stay on it. Knock it off a little, put it on. I didn't want to alter the kit too much. I don't think it came out that it wouldn't come out. I think when I hot glued down the raffia, I glued the carrot in there, so I have to do it that way. I don't recommend to do it this way. Do it before you put the carrots in. I don't know where this tickle's coming from. I gotta say, I really enjoy working with cinnamon though. It really just, I don't know, there's just something working with it. I love it. It came out so cute. Yeah, so if you do something like this, I'd love to see it. You can post it on Facebook, on Creative Faith Cafe, on Facebook, or here on, or on. I don't know if you could post pictures on YouTube. I have no idea, but yeah, you can post them there. I would love to see them. And I would appreciate if you just spread the word about the cafe that we're here and I hope that you guys stay well, and we will see you next time. Enjoy, and thank you.